It's so funny when you say something, how it doesn't resonate with me, and then the Hall of Famer will say it, and I'm like, because you've been on the necks of Deebo and Aiyuk, but we kind of label it as weaponry. But Steiny, not one receiving touchdown between the two of them. Like, that's not a Brock Purdy problem. That's an Aiyuk and Deebo problem.
It's a team problem.
But is it as simple as there's no Aiyuk for these two guys not to be able to manifest, and I don't want to say dominate, but do away with some of the red zone issues?
Let me tell you what's starting to become clear to me, or at least is a factor, because I've heard too many people talk about it. It's not just you lost McCaffrey, it's you lost the guy that the entire offense revolves around. It's a guy who carries 20 times. It's a guy who catches 5 or 6. It's clear that the defense has to acknowledge Christian McCaffrey every play.
Right.
And it feels like with Jordan Mason, they're willing to live with him. If you want to throw the ball to Jordan Mason, go throw the ball to Jordan Mason, because that's not what he's known for. And I think that aspect apparently has really compromised the entire offense. And I also think maybe what we're seeing is something that often happens in this case. Your best offensive player is gone, so you need your second best offensive player to be your best offensive player. And then your third option needs to become your second option. And you know what? Sometimes they can't handle it.
Wow. Well, now that's
Sometimes
interesting.
they can't handle it. It's like, you lose Steph Curry, where are you getting 30 points?
Gotcha.
All right, well, Clay can get you 8. Not anymore, but Clay can get you, he can make up 8 of those points.
Jordan Poole can make up 16 of those. You still need 3. But then we go to Jordan Poole, who's got to play for Steph Curry, and he's not as good. Well,
he's just not.
I'll say this to that. We've seen, and I know it was a couple years ago, man, but we've seen Deebo without McCaffrey in this offense basically put it on his back.
And I'm not
questioning Kyle, like, go back to that. I know it's more complex than that, but, it's not like we're asking Steiny to do something we haven't seen him do. Deebo did it so well when he was basically doing it all that he got paid for it. So it is crazy that we've heard all offseason the shape, how fast he looked, and right now he's been a no-show, and Warren called him out.
But he's not McCaffrey. You can't. If you put him
but
in
he's
the
not
back,
even up to Deebo standard of the past.
Well,
maybe
maybe that's because he's being asked to do more and he can't handle it. And maybe the same's happening with Aiyuk. Maybe all these other guys, maybe the eyes of the defense aren't just on McCaffrey anymore. They're probably willing to let Mason beat him. And they're taking away the other guys. 888-957-9570 is the number. Seattle versus the 49ers tonight up in Seattle. Big, big game. Niners can't afford to drop to 2-4 and then be 0-3
that's nasty.
Against division opponents. That would be a hole that they will really, really have to fight to dig out of. But the question I have for 49er fans right now is, are you giving this team the benefit of the doubt? And what I mean by that is, we've seen them get off to slow starts before. I understand the circumstances are different this year, but I'm going on this team's track record over the last several years of they're going to figure out a way to win more football games, and I think they're still going to go to the playoffs. That's
even
me.
Without the injured guys. Okay.
Nope.
Because that's where I'll leave you, because I need to know moving forward, when and if that day is coming. But
I think we have to operate like the 49ers.
Because it sounds like I can't expect Deebo to be the Deebo of old until McCaffrey gets back, unless that's something he's technically doing to where he's not beating his guys. Or, I'm looking at Deebo, Steiny, and I'm just like Aiyuk, I can say, hey, you had a great first half last game, but the season, you hadn't seen the end zone. But I don't think Deebo's dropping every ball thrown to him. But I know that end-around stuff that the Deebo catalog, Steiny, it doesn't seem to be working or fooling defenses like it used to.
Maybe because McCaffrey's not back there. Maybe.
But again, it used to work and be successful before they had Mac.
Maybe what we're finding out is Aiyuk is a really solid number one when McCaffrey's running the ball. But when McCaffrey's not playing,
well, that's a problem, man.
He's struggling to get open. I'm just trying to figure it out. But I think they've got enough to win 8 of the next 12 games and finish 10-7. Do you? 888-957-9570.
Quick question. Do you like the fact that they got a game tonight? Like
Sure.
if you were playing to get rid of the stench
Why not?
from Arizona?
Yeah. Why not?
I mean, because football's a hard game. You're hurting, and you ain't telling everybody.
Seattle's got the same situation.
All right.
What do you think?
No,
here we go.
No.
So 49ers are at a disadvantage because they're
on
playing
the road.
Thursday?
No, not at all. I'm just... just from a gladiator standpoint, are you happy you got a game quicker, or would those 4 days of extra rest or 3 days be something you would rather, I'd like to get out on Sunday instead of Thursday?
Let's go to Damon in San Francisco. What's up, Damon? How you doing, man?
What's up, guys? In my dump truck on the road right now.
Go.
But I wanted to touch on something that you guys were saying, man. Just looking at the team, I don't know that if TMT came back that it's going to change a whole lot. I think that the team is in a funk just all the way around. I think the defense is kind of misfiring. I think the schemes are bad. And I think that teams have a better read on Brock. The team just – I feel like the league is kind of adjusted because we've been the standard, and we haven't made that adjustment. We haven't made that corresponding adjustment. So I think even if TMT comes back, he's going to be an added weapon. He's going to be a threat. But I'm not sure that everything is going to change to where a light switch just comes on and we're that same team that was dominating all of last year.
Yeah, appreciate the call, Damon.
Well, it sounds like, I'll say this, Donnie, to Damon's point, he's not giving McCaffrey nor the Niners with McCaffrey, which has not happened this year, the benefit of the doubt. And a guy that got in the end zone 14 times last year, a touchdown machine, Christian McCaffrey, I got to give Brock that. I got to give all of them, even if I don't like it. Aiyuk, the whole offense, that you haven't had your best player, and these are the ramifications and fallout from that. So if he does come back, Damon, I got to believe we see a whole different 49er offense, one we're used to seeing that got him to the Super Bowl.
I mean, I just think that
you would hope that's all you got left.
Well, I'm not looking at McCaffrey to essentially come back and be who he was. I'm looking at McCaffrey coming back and the Niners kind of who they are. If you're telling me McCaffrey means so much to this team that everybody plays off him, then just having him back should give them a little bit of an advantage and put them back all into kind of where they should be on their pecking order.
No, I hear you. We got somebody, they sent it twice, Steiny, 650, and Mason has caught the ball at the backfield, but it reads this way. I don't understand. Mason has proven he can catch the ball. Why aren't we running more dump off and screens? Maybe we see that or it starts tonight.
I mean, I think it feels to me like in the Kyle Shanahan offense, there's a difference between throwing the ball to Mason or a back and what they do before all that happens with McCaffrey and throwing it to him out of the backfield. It feels like
the pre-snap motion.
What I'm hearing from people that really know football is that McCaffrey makes a difference even before the play sets up.
But I thought Deebo was when he missed a couple games last year, Steiny, with Trent Williams, and Christian McCaffrey was on the field when they lost three in a row. Remember, that did happen.
Right.
I said the threat of Deebo and what he can do, they didn't have that component, so the offense was kind of clunky. But now here we are a year later, it's McCaffrey, and I kind of understand it, but man, you need your big boys to step up, and I ain't talking about Purdy. He's part of that. But Deebo and Aiyuk got to get going. It starts tonight.
Well, they could help themselves by getting open. I got to believe Purdy hits guys that are open. I mean, this can't all be on one guy or two guys. I mean, it's got to be everybody else. Seattle's way more injured than the Niners. They need to capitalize and get the dub tonight. No excuses. Chris A. from Oakland.
Yeah, after that Ram debacle with everything that they had or didn't have at their disposal, Steiny, I done lost my neighbor has a lot of chicken on the Niners, thinking they're playing downtrodden teams, only to not cover but lose outright.
This is more from Greg Cosell on Brandon Aiyuk, because you brought him up. What's going on with Brandon Aiyuk?
Yeah.
Is he a different receiver this year, or are they using him differently?
They threw him the ball. I don't think he's any different than he's been or will be. I mean, we've spoken about him numerous times. They threw him the ball, so he has big numbers. I'm sure they'll continue to throw him the ball. And, like I said last week, I think I said this last week, I can't remember, but this offense isn't built on getting one guy the ball. So their offense, some like Samuel had a big game a couple of weeks ago. This week he didn't. That doesn't mean that there's something wrong with Deebo Samuel. That's not the way their offense is built.
So if I'm Aiyuk, I'm in the car listening to that, like free Aiyuk in regard to, I'm doing the same thing, Steiny.
Yeah, see, I'm looking at it as the way I think we should always look at a Kyle Shanahan offense. He goes into a game thinking of an area he can exploit, and then that's what he does. If he thinks but
there's in-game adjustments too.
But what I'm saying is, I completely agree with Greg Cosell that we want Christian McCaffrey to rush for 100 yards and catch balls for 70.
Yeah.
We want Deebo Samuel to have 5 catches for 98. We want Aiyuk to have 5 catches for 77. We want George Kittle to have 6 catches for 60 yards. It's like when we talk about the weaponry of this team, you can't utilize all the weaponry in terms of quantity over the course of one game. That's just the way it is with the Niners. One day somebody's going to beat you, the next another guy's going to beat you. And then at the end of the year, the numbers are what the numbers are. But I agree. Like, they don't go into a game saying, well, this is an Aiyuk game. I think he looks at what, I don't know how he thinks they can beat Seattle tonight. Maybe he thinks they can beat him with a run. Okay, well, then Mason's going to have a lot of touches. But maybe, I think Kyle Shanahan knows sometimes when he goes into a game, you know what? George probably isn't going to get a lot of catches this game. Why not? Well, we're going to try it. We're going to really emphasize the run, and we've got to keep him in to give Brock a little more protection, and then maybe that'll be the way it goes tonight. But no, I don't. I mean, you can't. It's just like when the Warriors had Green, Durant, Clay, and Steph. It's like they didn't score 30 each night. One night, one guy did it, the next another guy did it, and I think that's kind of what we're watching with the 49ers offense. So who's it going to be tonight?
Yeah, and it's got to be Kyle, too, because after the 15 or however many scripted plays, I think the sign of a good coach is to read the game. And sometimes things change, and you're feasting or beasting a certain way, and you got to continue to do that. And that's my only qualm with that I have with Kyle Shanahan is when something is working, keep doing it. Don't let him off the hook. And I felt like he did that to Arizona. And I won't even mention Mason, Steiny, just going away from the run.